Good evening, One Players. A warm welcome wherever you are watching around the world. You are cordially invited in to the One Play Sports spectrum, where we are well and truly COVID busters here at One Play Sports. The return of live sport to your Singapore screens all this week. 7 nights of top-class Cuesports action, courtesy of the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational matchup. We are on match night 3, which means it's time for our second quarter final. And joining me to look forward to the action is Singapore's number 4 ranked player. You'll see him in action tomorrow night against Steve Fong. But I'm delighted to say tonight he's alongside me. It's Sharik Saeed. And of course, Sharik, our two combatants tonight, Desmond Goh and the man that likes to be known as the Giant Slayer, David Bala, the prize at the end of this rainbow, a matchup against Aloysius Yap, who was so impressive yesterday.
Yes, yesterday's match was very interesting. Aloysius played exceptionally well. He did not leave William many chances and made quick work of William.
Yeah, the pirate William Ang was well and truly hung, drawn and quartered, dispatched by 7 racks to 1 by a quite simply breathtaking performance by the golden boy of Singapore Cuesports. Now, obviously, we're delighted to welcome an audience all over the world who are very familiar with Cuesports and 9-ball, and indeed the players that we are seeing in action. But for those One players that are watching the Cuesports Singapore team for the first time, what can you tell us about tonight's 2 players? And we'll start with Desmond Goh, who comes into this with the higher seeding of 3 compared to David Bala's 6.
Well, Desmond's a pretty accomplished player in Singapore. He's won the 2018 National 9-ball Championships. And it's also nice to say that he was my partner for the 9-ball doubles in the SEA Games in Philippines last year. So he's definitely got game.
What kind of temperament's he got? Because obviously it's a bit like boxing, this, I find. They say styles make fights, and sometimes styles make 9-ball matches. Are we expecting fast play from both? Is one faster than the other? Have either of them got a weakness? Because you must have studied these guys. You would know if they've got a weakness that each other might try and exploit.
Yes, Bala is actually a pretty fast player, and Desmond's a very calculative player. So I'm sure Desmond's going to be wary of Bala and not leave him many shots.
It's a race to 7 racks for the right to take on Aloysius Yap in Saturday's semi-final. The semi-finals will be a race to 9. And as you can see, Sharik and myself both wearing masks. One of the great innovations of this return of live sport to Singapore is that we are COVID safe and a little bubble here in the heart of Singapore Sports Hub. If you are from Singapore, just to give you an idea exactly where we are, we're in the bowels of the Kallang Theatre, just across the road from the National Stadium. It truly is the home of sport in Singapore, and we're delighted to be bringing you 9-ball live all this week. So, as I always do, Sharik, before I let you get ready in commentary, what's your correct score prediction for tonight's race to 7? Is it going to be Desmond Goh for you, or are you Balaman?
I would say it's going to be a really close match, but I'm going to have to give Desmond Goh the edge. Just because of the experience.
Okay, so Desmond Goh for you, and don't forget you'll see Sharik in action tomorrow night against Steve Fong. So with that said, let's remind you of how the bracket looks as we approach the start of the 3rd night. Seems so long ago that we enjoyed the wildcard matches on Monday. It was great to see Jessica Tan getting her chance on the big stage, but she went down to Fraser Liu, who takes on To Lian Han in our 4th quarter final on Friday. William Ang downing Nicholas Tan, but he was no match for Aloysius Yap in yesterday's matchup. And there you see, I look forward to tomorrow night, Sharik Saeed against Steve Fong. Sharik certainly can talk a good game when it comes to 9-ball. He'll get a chance tomorrow night to see if he can walk the walk. So without any further ado, for the millions watching around the world on One Play Sports, our associated pages, don't forget to like, share, follow and comment. Let's first of all welcome our referee for this evening's matchup. Please say hello to Mr. Steve Chua. Thank you, Steve. And now it is time to meet our players. Starting with the number 3 seed. He is happy-go-lucky. It is Desmond Goh. As you can see, Desmond Goh, 34 years of age, plays right-handed. Q-Tech and the Q-Shop are his sponsors, ranked 31 in Asia and the 2018 National 9-ball champion. He has got the pedigree here to go far in this invitational matchup. And his opponent is a real character. He'll be joining me in the commentary box while Sharik plays tomorrow night. But this evening he's only got one thing on his mind, and that's booking that slot in the semi-finals. And maybe with one eye on Aloysius Yap, he calls himself the Giant Killer. It's David Bala. Yeah, it's been great to have David in and around the venue. Another right hand. He hasn't got a sponsor. Let's find a sponsor for David, courtesy of this great coverage. Rank 6. Welcome back to the One Play Sports Spectrum. Apologies to all our viewers out there and, of course, our players. A slight technical glitch, but delighted to say we're back online now. And if you are just joining us, you're watching match night 3 in the One Play Cuesports Singapore Invitational Matchup 2020. Steve Chua, our referee, has called the players to the table for the lag. Great to see the camaraderie between all the Cuesports Singapore community. How important is the lag for you here, Sharik? Because we saw yesterday Aloysius got off to a blistering start and William just couldn't live with it.
Well, yes, as I stated earlier, it is such a short format, race to 7-9 ball. The lag is extremely important because if this match goes 6-6, the winner of the lag, in this case Bala, is going to be breaking to win the match.
And I don't know if you're one of those people that believes in the omen of the lag, but it's noticeable that Desmond was way off there. And it's understandable nerves here. I was speaking to Desmond earlier. It's slightly different setup in terms of lighting. And obviously the pressure's on. We've got a huge audience watching all around the world. And by the way, don't forget to like, share, follow, comment, and tell us on the Facebook comment section where you are watching from. First break to David Bala, and he's got action off the break as well. The one is gone. He's managed to eliminate 2 balls there, and he's got a nice spread as well. Obviously attention will now...
Yes, it's a nice open layout.
Attention turning to the 2, the 1 and 3 sunk on the break, and he's got a shot on the 2 as well. Quite a fine cut.
He went for the bank shot.
Lovely bank shot. He's striding round the table with purpose early here, David Bala. And look at the cue ball as well. Couldn't have, could have picked the cue ball up and put it in on a sixpence. He wouldn't have got it any better than where he wanted it there for the 4. Transition now from 4 to that 5, which should be relatively straightforward. These are spread beautifully.
Definitely, he played the bank shot very well at a good speed.
And when you're playing at this level with this pressure, nailing your first tricky shot like that so confidently, there was nothing but net when it went down the pocket. It's only going to increase your confidence, isn't it?
Yes, I think he should start to feel more comfortable right now. And it's a good opportunity for actually all of the players that are playing in this event, because we do not get many opportunities like this. I'd like to give a shout out to some of my friends watching.
Go for it, Sherry.
Brianna Miller from the US and also Biv from London.
Oh, fantastic to know we've got people from the States and the UK watching. You're very welcome here to the heart of Singapore sports up on the One Play spectrum with our COVID-busting One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational Matchup 2020, where David Bala has made a stunning start, but this is going to be a tester for him. Of course, this is the beauty of 9-ball. You can play 8 sensational shots. If the 9th is no good, it counts for absolutely nothing. It's a cruel mistress, your chosen profession, Shurik, isn't it?
Definitely. It's always wise to stay in line.
Is he banking here because he produced that marvellous bank from the 2 at the start of this?
Well, it's not clear from here whether the bank is on, but he might even actually elect to play a safety, and looks like he's going for that.
Well, that's interesting that he's gone safe there, because with the confidence behind him, he might have elected to be a bit bolder, but you can see the method to the madness after all that good work, and he's got the pace of the table down to a T early on, and straight away Desmond has got a job on making this 7 safe.
It's an important thing to decide and commit. In situations like these, players tend to get into 2 minds.
Is he jumping here the way he's...
Yes, he's jumping there.
Well, he gets the jump well away. Oh, not too far at all from producing a stunning shot that would have surely given him every chance of taking the first rack. Instead, it's advantage back to David Bala, who's got 3 relatively straightforward shots here to hold his throw, having won the lag and broken first. Great to have Crispian Ung with us. Thank you, Crispian, for your kind words. Do tell us where you're watching around the world, by the way, on the Facebook comment section. Drop us a note and maybe put your nation's flag up from where you're watching. Meanwhile, David Bala has had a shocker there, and having played with authority and confidence through the first 3 quarters of this first rack, that is a dolly he's left up there.
Yes, I did not expect him to miss that shot.
Can Desmond Goh make him pay? Again, though, I'm entirely sure he's got the pace of this table early on. It's not a disaster.
Yes, there's not much he has to do on this shot. Just focus on making the ball, and the cue ball should naturally roll off 1 cushion to take the 9 in the right-hand corner.
Well, it stays up, and I have to say that was a long way away. He's won second prize and that he's not left David anything easy. And again, how many times have we seen that? The position for the cue ball for the 9 was perfect, but it's no good unless the 8 goes down. And this missed by quite some way.
And you can see in that, from that angle, Desmond twitched a little bit on that shot. That might have created the miss.
I hope I don't see you twitching tomorrow. I should be very critical if you're twitching out there.
I will do my best. That's all I can say.
Well, already, this is turning into one of the longest racks of the entire week so far. To kick us off, both players have had opportunities to close it out. David, slightly easier opportunity as Patrick Nix flies the flag of the United States. Crispian is in Carrollton in Texas. Great to have you with us, guys.
I think those misses by Bala and Desmond, they're just early signs of the nerves. They just have to get settled into the match.
45-second shot clock in operation, and Desmond Goh is going to milk that baby now because he's obviously, I would imagine, planning on leaving the cue ball down the far end of the table and the object ball, the 8, back down this side, you would imagine. But the angle means he has to be really precise here, otherwise he's going to leave David a shot. The 9 remains bang central, so anyone who can sink the 8 is surely going to take this rack. He's gone 2 cushions off the 8 board. He's going to cannon into the 9, and he's left a long range shot. The only consolation he's got is the 9 now tight against this near side rail. So David, even if he does pot this, has still got work to do.
In Desmond's position, I would have actually gone for the bank shot. That way, if I miss the bank, it actually offers me a 2-way. I'd leave Bala a difficult shot with a cue ball on one side and the 8 ball on the other side of the table.
Crispian is going with the underdog. He thinks Bala is going to win here. Was he going to... thought for a second he was going to fluke that, but that is about as bad as it gets. I think he can cut this in, can't he?
Yes, that was not an easy shot. He had to power it off of 3 rails. So that's understandable. Surely Desmond has to run out here.
Again, this would be an indication if he's getting the pace back. But again, I'm not entirely sure he's happy with that. He's tight up against the left rail. Should be good enough to sink this, but I think he's struggling a bit with the pace. And with that being said, he'll be delighted that he secured the first rack. As Sharek quite expertly said, signs of nerves from both of them, but it's first blood to the man they call lucky, Desmond Goh. Steve Chua, our referee, re-racking as we see the 9 ball go down. That was a tester as well. See, nose missed already. Seen easier 9 balls than that missed already this week.
That should make Desmond feel a little better. He's off, got his first game now.
Well, it was incredible, wasn't it? It just goes to show how quickly fortunes can ebb and flow at this level. As we thank our sponsors, Edinburgh Sources, who very kindly contributed to a not inconsiderable prize fund, bearing in mind the lack of live sport in recent times. 2,300 Singapore dollars in the prize fund. Andy Billiards cloth, the equipment has been first class. Everyone raving about this diamond table we're using. Thanks to Dominic and Uncle Paul at the Q Shop for rigging that up for us, and our furniture sponsors. Those delightful green chairs you see here from a long-time collaborators of ours, 42. Next time you do a bit of interior decorating, Sharik, you want to get down to 42.
I most certainly will.
Right, second rack, Desmond Goh. If he can hold serve here, he's going to open up an early lead. And as Sharik has also said numerous times throughout the competition, in a race to 9, you cannot afford to get far behind. We saw William Ang come from 6-3 down, or was it 6-4? I think 6-4, wasn't it, against Nicholas Tan. But as the competition gets deeper into the week, the standard is going to rise, and it will take a monumental effort to come from 3 racks down from here on in any format. Never mind best of 7. We go to best of 9 in the semis, best of 11 in the finals. We're with you every weekday this week at 9 p.m. Singapore time. That's GMT +8. You'll be able to see To Lian Han, the number 2 seed, and another SEA Games medalist for Team Singapore up against Fraser Liao on Friday. And tomorrow, the man to my left has his moment in the spotlight, Sharik Saeed against Steve Fong. So, 1 gone, 2 gone, 8 gone.
No straightforward shot on the 3. He has to play a safety here.
He has to judge that pace absolutely spot on for that shot, and he has done. The 3 tight on the left rail as well, which means there's not really much percentage in David Bala trying to jump this and clip it in. If there'd have been some separation between the rail and the red, he might have given that a shot. What do you play here, Sharik?
What Bala is looking at is actually a pretty good option, but I wouldn't I wouldn't fault him even if he kicks it down the long rail.
Oh my word, did he play that? No, the hand's gone up. He didn't. We had that big debate yesterday, didn't we, about whether William Ang played that combination that sunk the 9 in, I think, the second or third frame, but there's no question that was just good fortune. Of course, it's tempered somewhat by the fact that he was trying to leave a safe cue ball there, so he's not left himself anything easy. He was trying to, I'm assuming, get that 3 behind the 5 there.
Right, I think all he intended was to create the separation, but he double kissed the 3 ball, and it ended up travelling to the end of the table.
Very good evening to Jason Colebrook, who's watching from Australia. Great to have you with us, Jason. Thanks for joining the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball invitational matchup, as that 4 didn't go according to plan. Going to be awkward queuing, though, for this next shot from Desmond Goh. Scrappy early on, I think it's safe to say, this match, Sharek.
Yes, I think both players still have not settled down yet. And I think Bala played that shot at that speed to avoid scratching in the side pocket. I think the angle laid such that if he rolled it, he would have scratched immediately in the side pocket.
You mentioned the contrast in the shot timing of these two, and that's already evident early through the first rack and a half. Is he trying to cut this into the bottom right?
He has to go for this.
A mile away, and what's more, it could end up absolutely everywhere. Doesn't want the kiss, just avoided the kiss, and that was absolutely crucial. If that had made connection with the 4, surely it would have given David a sitter. As it is, but you've seen him produce one decent bank shot already tonight. Chance
This
to
is
see if he
where,
can produce another.
sorry about that. This is where 9-ball gets a little tricky, because once you miss the shot, you don't know where you're going to leave it for your opponent.
My, oh
And
my,
they
how
haven't
did
left.
that stay up? Wiped its feet, poked its head round the corner of the door, and then said, don't fancy that much. And I think he can see this full ball, can't he? Let's have a look at this again. How on earth has this not dropped? My word. You sure Desmond Goh's not got one of his friends with his hand under the table putting it back up on?
They've missed the shots, but they haven't left each other an easy opportunity. Good shot by Desmond.
Matt Luther Cook is with us. Evening, Matt. Nice to have you with us, buddy. Matt, where are you watching from? Do tell us. Matt Luther Cook on Facebook. Where are you watching from? We've had people from Australia, Hong Kong, the United States, Singapore, of course, all over Asia this week. Anyone watching from the United Kingdom? I'd like to know that. If anyone there's from the UK, of course, the World Snooker Champions currently in progress. Oh, that is a disaster for Desmond Goh. That's criminal to sink the cue ball after doing the hard part, but lost the cue ball completely. And I think Desmond's taken some time. It's very fortunate that he won that first rack, because I think he's taking slightly longer than David to adjust the conditions here.
I would have to say, if the winner of this match was playing Aloysius, they would have to definitely be playing better to stand a fighting chance.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the century. Aloysius Yap will be watching this in his ivory tower of #1 seeding in the top Cuesports man in Singapore, thinking, where's my challenge going to come from? Reminder, as Sharek alluded to, the winner of this one plays Aloysius Yap in the first semi-final on Saturday. Matt is in Singapore. Great stuff, Matt. As the 9-ball goes down, and we are levels, you devils. We're all square at 1 rack each. And a nice manufactured polite round of applause. Our magnificent CEO, Mr. Mohit Lalvani. We had a discussion today over Zoom in one of our many extensive Zoom meetings. And he said, why don't we put some, a bit like they're doing at the Crucible in Sheffield, why don't we put some canned applause in? And I wasn't too sure, but I think that was quite pleasant there.
Yes,
I think we should
agree.
also get some oohs and some ahs when they make some misses. And if we'd had the oohs and the ahs, we'd have heard them numerous times throughout that second rack, because a couple of bad misses, and David Bala will be delighted he's on the board.
Hopefully the players have settled in now.
Well, let's hope so. We are just confirming those audience effects are artificial. We've been observing strict protocols, wearing face masks. There's a very skeleton crew here. Everyone has their temperature taken and is scanned and checked on arrival here at the One Play Sports Spectrum in the heart of the Singapore Sports Hub. But it was, I agree with Mohat. I wasn't sure, but it was quite nice having that warm round of applause to acknowledge good play. David back at the table to break in the third rack, and he's got action as well. He's dropped 2, and the question now is whether the 1 will go past the ball that's on the rail there on the top of the cushion. Let's have a look at this again. Both into the bottom left-hand corner pocket. 2 went down. Has he got a shot here on the 1? He's elected to play safe, and bearing in mind the 3, 6 and 2 are all on that right-hand rail. It's not straightforward, this, to get to the 1.
Desmond's going to be bridging over the 7 ball to kick at this.
Gets contact. He needs a good cue ball here, otherwise he could be in bother. And I don't think he's been saved by the 8.
He might have hit this a little too hard. He did create the separation, but he hit it so hard that the balls came back together.
One goes down for David. Didn't take any chances, wasn't trying to be too flashy with the cue ball there, and you can see why, because it was a delicate shot to ensure he had a pathway through to the 2. The transition to 3 is not going to be straightforward. He's assumably going to have to strike that hard up against the right-hand rail, but first things first, needs to sink the 2, and does so. Now, how's the pace of the cue ball here? Has he come far enough, or has he snookered himself? I think it's the latter. Doesn't like that, does he?
He should have tried to hit the 3rd cushion. That way he would have guaranteed the position. But playing off 2 cushions, there's certainly the chance of him getting snookered behind the 5 ball. So I guess he could have played a better percentage on that shot.
Can he see enough of it to clip it? I think he can. He certainly can't pot it, but if he tries to get the 3 ball across the table, he's got to be careful he doesn't hit it on the way back up. So I think he's going to try and kill the cue ball dead on contact with the 3 and send the 3 up the other end of the table. Well, not exactly stone dead, and he's left the chance here for Desmond Goh.
That's a good start for Desmond. A straight, all close to straight in shot. Not much to do with the cue ball. But he has to make sure that he gets a good angle to get to the 7 ball towards the end of the screen.
Now, how ambitious is he, what he does with the cue ball here on the 6? Because he's going to presumably go up and down here to get to the 7. Is that the shot he's playing here?
I
Or is
think
he just
he's
trying to stun it.
He's trying to play with a draw shot. Well controlled.
It was, wasn't it? And he's just got a slightly friendly angle, because the natural path for the cue ball will be to take it back round where the 8 is. The 8's an open play. You fancy if he gets this shot, he's winning the rack.
He might have to go end rail to end rail, because it seems like the angle's pretty thin. Or not.
Down it goes. Needs a bit of pace here, and he's got a bit of pace, so that's beautiful. He doesn't like it. I thought that was what he was playing for. Was he trying to play for the 8 into the middle? I'm sure it goes past the 9. If it goes past the 9, I'm not sure what he's worried about, because a bit of topspin and he should have a penalty kick for the 9. Just snicked past it.
I think he just wasn't satisfied that the cue ball wasn't exactly where he wanted it to be.
You're perfectionists, you 9-ball players, aren't you?
But no problem for him.
Well, Desmond Goh has come from 2 down as our artificial applause sees the number 3 seed now lead David Bala by 2 racks to 1.
Thank you, Crispin, for the wonderful comment.
Yeah, Crispin, very kind of you, sir. Very generous. with your kind words. Don't forget, if you are just joining us, let us know where you're watching in the world here on One Play Sports. Indonesian commentary, incidentally. If you're watching in Indonesia or you speak Indonesian Bahasa, on the One Play Sports Indonesia page, you can watch our tremendous coverage in Bahasa. It's Tava, I think, on commentary duty tonight. Big bucks up for grabs, 2,300 Singapore dollars in the prize fund. Our 4 quarter-finals, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, race to 7. The 2 semi-finals going to be a big night Saturday. Race to 9 for both of them. Aloysius Schaap, so far the only man through. He'll play the winner of this one in the first semi on Saturday. And then our showpiece occasion, delighted to hear that President Chris Chua will be joining us on Sunday in the One Play Sports Spectrum to present the cheque of 1,000 Singapore dollars to the winner. Not to be stiffed up. What would you do with $1,000 if you won it? Have you got anything earmarked?
I think I would invest the $1,000 into making my...
What's the coaching situation like in Singapore? Have you got a good team of coaches that help you out?
Well, yes. The second seed in Singapore, Tolin Han, he's actually the current national team coach. So we discuss about shots every now and then at the practice venue. I might use $1,000 for an overseas tournament for some expenses.
Yeah, it would go down well, wouldn't it? Just the 8 down off the break, and a dangerous shot on the 1. It's got in-off potential, so he's going to have to be very mindful of the cue ball here. Going to have to put some action on it.
Looks like he's going to cut the 1 ball.
He's picking up the pace now, isn't he, Desmond Goh? He's just starting to find his rhythm and stride.
Looks like he has good position on the 2 ball. Things look under control now.
So cutting the 2 into the same pocket where he just dispatched the 1, and the outcome is exactly the same. And just like that, he is looking like he's developing a rack winning opportunity. He can get through full ball to the 3, bottom right hand corner pocket.
I can notice that Desmond has actually slowed his game down a little bit. That's a good move since he's not feeling all that comfortable. He can ensure that he goes through his routine on every shot, which he can use it to slowly gain his confidence back.
Slightly hampered by the 2 balls around him. That doesn't stop him nailing the 4. 5 is a formality. I'm trying to see what the dangers are here, and I'm struggling to find one. I suppose the 7 is going to require decent cue ball position to make it straightforward. You wouldn't want to be trying to hit that one from long range, but...
Yes, I think he's looking to just draw the cue ball back 1 or 2 inches. Maybe slightly more than that.
And it's a race to 7, which means potentially a maximum of 13 racks will be played.
He would ideally like to be back at the same place after making the 6 ball to play the 7 ball.
To the check side on the cue ball and holds it up nicely.
Good angle just to play a soft stance shot, and then the 9 in the bottom left hand corner pocket.
So David Bala flew out the traps and looked really comfortable through the first 4 minutes of the match, but little's gone right for him since then, and Desmond Goh is about to have this relatively straightforward 9, albeit at a slightly awkward angle, for a 3 racks to 1 lead early.
Desmond has elected to play the firmer shot.
And what's he going for here, Sharek?
I think he's just reaching out for his extension because he probably can't reach the ball since he'll be stretching over the table. That's a good decision. Just make sure he sinks the 9 ball in.
And it goes, minimum of fuss, and David Bala with it all to do as the artificial crowd replicate what a real crowd will be doing, and that's showing their appreciation for some fine 9 ball from Desmond Goh, who's taken this matchup by the scruff of the neck. And again, we always like to talk around about this time in a match when you might go for the timeout. Do you think David Bala will give it maybe one more rack to try and get back in contention here before he opts to take that 7-minute break that both players have available to them?
Yes, I think David can probably afford to wait another rack. And that was the first break and run by Desmond Goh.
Reminder, Indonesian commentary available on One Play Sports Indonesia. Join Tara. Indonesia Bahasa commentary available there. Is there anything One Sports doesn't do? COVID busting live 9 ball, dual language commentary. I'm hearing big whispers about live football and live cricket being streamed by us very shortly as well. And I half jest about that, but do make sure you like, share, follow, comment, because I'm not a person to say these things lightly. There's some blockbuster news coming from One Play Sports, and you don't want to miss it. If you're a fan of cricket in particular, you need to be paying attention to One Play Sports in the next week or so. Football as well. Obviously, the UEFA competitions are being played out, but you're going to be starved of football shortly. Not if you watch One Play Sports.
I'm certainly very impressed and very thankful that we are having this matchup here.
Michael Chua, a regular contributor on the Facebook comment section, he's making me well up here. A tear comes to my eye as he says the applause is not artificial. All the viewers watching are clapping at home. Michael, I'm touched.
Thank you, Michael.
David Bala, big shot to get his confidence levels back up on that one.
That was a great opening shot. That shot requires great cueing, and that he delivered
brilliantly as well.
Very nicely played.
It was a Hurricane Higgins-esque pull away with the cue on the follow through.
Oh yes.
He's a bit of a flair player, David Bala, but he needs to get some control in his game. I think this is the crucial rack in the matchup so far. 3-2, 4-1, a big difference in a race to 7.
I would definitely say so. Maybe even David could slow down a little bit, and that would help his cause.
Now straight away, you can see the 7 is in no man's land, hard up against the right-hand rail. So cue ball is going to be very important here. Screws back.
You can see how effortlessly David generates spin with his cueing.
This is a wobbler, though. We saw Desmond Goh miss by a country mile a shot down this rail to the bottom right-hand corner pocket earlier. So David, under pressure, trailing 3 racks to 1, will want to make sure that he does not give Desmond an opportunity to establish a 3-rack lead.
This is one of the situations where you just focus on the
It's
pot.
that pocket again. Now, incredibly, he's missed that by even further than Desmond Goh missed his one in that bottom right-hand corner pocket. I'm interested to hear from you after your match tomorrow, Sherry, because that side of the table is causing the players problems.
I'm sure that's not the reason that they're missing the shot. It's
just
the pressure
but it's
that's
the pressure,
getting to them.
But they weren't close. They were both, neither of those 2 shots I'm talking about even hit the jaw.
Well, in Desmond's case, the 8 ball is actually away from the rail. But David, he actually hit the 6 into the rail first, and then it rebounded out. So it looked like he missed it really bad. Maybe even worse than Desmond, but I think they both missed it by about the same margin.
Well, it couldn't have come at a worse time for David Bala. He's got some comfort in the fact that Desmond Goh has not got the cue ball he would have liked there, as he tries to find a path to sink the 7. This rack not over yet.
Lucky Goh is certainly getting lucky.
Yeah, you have to say he's got the breaks, but they say you make your own luck in top-level sport. This is top-level sport, and Desmond Goh is playing well after a slow start. It's incredible to talk about slow starts when he's on the brink of going 4-1 up as he sinks a beautiful 7, but ends up in slightly unknown waters when it comes to the 8. And after sinking that majestic 7, he's almost going to have to take a gamble here. He's not really got a shot other than the bank, surely.
I'm not sure if Desmond could have elected to play the 7 and travel 4 cushions back to the middle of the table for the 8 ball.
What do you do here? Do you bank this into the top right and leave the cue ball at the bottom end of the table in case you miss?
I would actually play a two-way shot. I'll try to bank the 8 ball in the bottom right corner.
He's gone safe. He needs a cue ball here up against the 9 if he can get it. Needs it to stop, needs it to stop. Well, that's a fine shot, isn't it?
That's
Great
still
judge
a
of
great
pace.
shot.
He's certainly picking up the pace of the cloth now.
The most important thing is that once a player commits, they execute the shot that they want to.
This is interesting. Aaron Teo says David is not wearing his glasses. Does David usually wear glasses at the table?
Yes, he does. But I think for today's match, he's actually wearing his contact lens.
Now, what's he playing here? Is this a jump?
I actually
Hold on
saw-
to your hats, folks. We've got a jump up. My word. Oh,
What a jump shot.
that is a shot of the invitational matchup so far, and my director quite rightly presses the artificial applause. That's well warranted. What a time to pull that out the far when you're staring a 4-1 deficit down the face. This shot could be the pathway to make it 3-2. Shot of the championship so far.
We certainly have seen some great jump shots played here. On the first day, Nicholas Tan made 2 wonderful jump shots.
Yeah, it's great to see young Nicholas Tan in action. He'll be furious he didn't go on to win the matchup against William Ang, but he'll learn from the experience, I'm sure, now. Big 9 ball for David Bala. Oh, my word, that pocket again. Well, after the magnificence of the jump shot on the 8, he has gifted the 5th rack to Desmond Goh. And it's the same pocket that cursed him in the 3rd rack. It's done him no favours in the 5th. I do not believe what I'm seeing.
I'm surprised the 9 did not go in.
Well,
It hit the left and the right point, and
Well,
then
this
it
is
came back out.
exactly the same as that left middle pocket with the 7 in the 2nd rack. And Desmond Goh is going to lap up that gift horse. And I wonder, I think the timeout's come from David Bala here, and no surprise, I think it's the perfect time to take timeout because he's going to have to compose himself, because mentally that is going to affect him. The brilliance of the 8 followed by disaster on the 9.
Oh yes, I'm sure the misses are leeching off of his confidence. He needs to do something on this timeout to get back into the match. And I'm sure he is not pleased with the opportunities that he has left Desmond.
We're in timeout territory, folks. David Bala has called for timeout, trailing 4-1. Tava Azhar, our Indonesian colleague in the Indonesian broadcast booth, also on our dual language commentary service here on One Play Sports. It's a match you can't take your eyes off at the moment. Desmond Lucky Go is getting all the breaks so far. David Bala, despite producing the shot of the championship so far, after jumping the 8 brilliantly, then dollied up the 9 for Desmond. Stay with us. We'll take a very short break and then be back with the beginning of the 6th rack, with Desmond Goh 3 away from a semi-final date with the number 1 seed, Aloysius Yap.
I think experience comes in.
Here we go. 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 Here we go.
We start each day with high hopes. We meet people, sharing rides with them. People who build their lives around family, around their children's future. People who rely on others to give them a helping hand. And those who cherish quality time with loved ones. And like everyone else, we find comfort in people we trust. People who understand our needs and raise us above all expectations. People who share our dreams.
There you get a glimpse of the setup of our magnificent one-play 9-ball spectrum. It was conducted by Dominic and Paul, Uncle Paul of the Q Shop on Saturday afternoon. A good 6 hours. Transformed the one-play sports spectrum from the studio setting that usually hosts some magnificent Sports Singapore shows. Have you managed to catch a kickback with Kelly and Barbara yet, or have you had an evening with John and Duncan? Have you managed to catch up with those shows on
Yes, I
Sports
have.
Singapore? Yeah, good stuff, isn't it?
Yes,
I'm
it
surprised.
is.
I want to get. You should be as a guest on John and Duncan show. I'll get you. I would see if I can pull some strings for you, bro. Get you on the John and Duncan show.
I would
or
love
would
the
you rather?
opportunity.
Would you rather kick back with Kelly and Barbara Latimer? Who's your favourite Latimer sister?
I would say Kelly.
Kelly. I'm a Barbara man myself. Back live into the one-play sports spectrum. The 6th rack about to get underway, and Desmond Goh is at the table. And if you can break and run here, surely there's no way back for David Bala, who's been so unfortunate. The shot of the championship in the previous rack, but choked on the 9. And the question now is everything going to start going Desmond Goh's way? And that kiss on the 1 suggests it might be the case, because he's now got a dolly on the 1 with, from that angle, I suggest the ability to put the cue ball after this 1 anywhere he'd like. And look, was that the 3 that just went far enough past it?
If Desmond makes this break and run, Bala's going to be in huge trouble. He's going to be 4 games down in the race to 7, and that's not a good place to be in.
Well, he's got the 8 and 9. He might have to do a bit of work there. I'm not sure. The 8 certainly doesn't go past the 9 to the right-hand corner pocket, and I'm not sure if we can see enough about it to look at the left, but that's a long way off, of course. I'm getting ahead of myself. Calm me down, Sharik.
Yes, looks like there's quite a bit of work to do before he gets to the 8 ball.
Ooh.
And just like that,
It breaks. He was trying to be cute there, wasn't he? He was just trying to develop the 2, but he's actually made life harder for himself. But he's got a huge target to aim at should he want to try and position that cue ball behind the 8 and 9 and send the blue back to the top end of the table. And we've seen already similar safety shots employed by him where the pace has been judged to perfection.
yes, Desmond's pretty good on the tactical side of the game, and that's actually his strong suit.
But he's not trying to be too flashy here. He didn't want to get it right up against the 8 and the 9, but are we going to see another David Bala jump special here after that jumper on the 8th in the last?
Hopefully David's adrenaline has subsided.
He's going for it again. Hold on to your seats, folks. It's always spectacular when David Bala's at the table. Is lightning going to strike twice? Not this time. And now he's going to need a bit of luck to keep the 2 safe. And a bit of luck is exactly what he's got. There'll be no jumping this one for Desmond Goh. Oh, this is a horrible shot to have to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if Desmond gets the cue ball and the 2 ball safe here. He's pretty handy with the kick shot.
What are you thinking here? Has he got a natural path off one of the side rails here, or is he going to have to come to the bottom with a bit of check side and come back up?
Actually, I think as long as he hits half ball on either side of the 2, he will create some separation.
Well, he's going to the side. Obviously, the middle pocket not going to hamper him.
What's key is the speed that he kicks it at.
Oh, that flick on the 6 has done him a service, I think. I'm not sure David can see this full ball. Can he's getting the rest out straight away like he thinks he can. Can he see enough of this? What do you reckon?
I think he can see enough to play safety. He
Certainly to
definitely
play
can't
safe,
go
but
offensive here.
he can't cut it in, you don't think?
I don't think so. He's going to have to try to send the cue ball down table and the 2 ball down table and leave the cue ball around that vicinity.
That might drop, you know. That might drop. And it has dropped.
I'm not sure he went for that.
There was no hand that went up that time, though. And David Bala, he's created numerous opportunities in this match. Played some stunning shots, but he's got to start converting his shot making into winning racks. I don't think a hand went up here. And that one did have a long hard think before it dropped. He's staying away from that left middle pocket now. Oh, David Bala rattling the jaws again. Oh, that was far too close for comfort to the right middle. As it is, he's got a shot on the 5. Still that 7 and 8 conundrum awaits.
It's not an ideal position, as his mind will be split about worrying about the cue ball as well. Let's see which pocket he likes to play it in. Looks like he's playing it in the side pocket.
And I wonder whether he might use this opportunity to develop the 8 away from the 9 as well, because he's got the natural angle to do that, hasn't he?
Yes, I think he can't avoid the running into the 9 and 8.
It's called for an extension.
But
So-
his position isn't guaranteed.
And of course he needs to try and hold up for the 6 as well. You would think by using the 8 and the 9 as a stopper, you can hold for the 6 and make the 8 an easier proposition down the track. Well, not a disaster, but for a man that's 4-1 down and under some pressure, this is a real tester.
He has to pinch the cue ball and just stop it there after playing the 6 in the bottom right corner pocket.
That left middle again was far from convincing when it dropped. Needs to worry about the cue ball here to hold for the 7. Look at that control over the cue ball and no mistaking.
He shot that ball with authority. That's a good sign.
David Bala, having taken his time out at the end of the 5th rack, is looking to get back into business here in the 6th.
Just has to be careful here.
And of course it'll be David Bala to break in the next as well. So real opportunity. Needs that cue ball to slow up. Needs that cue ball to slow up. Just about okay.
He's fine. He's just going to play this off of 2 cushions and right back to the center of the table.
Is David Bala getting his groove back? The man that calls himself the Giant Killer is trying to kill a giant in the shape of Desmond Goh tonight for a chance to kill the ultimate giant on Saturday. And David Bala back on track. His first rack in 4 reduces the arrears. Desmond Goh leads by 4 racks to 2.
It seems like he has calmed down.
Look back at this 9 and utilised that timeout well, didn't he? 4-1. He knew he had to try and stop the slide and get the momentum back in his favour, and it's a great response after the disaster of that brilliant shot on the 8 and then leaving the 9 up in the previous rack to get back was very admirable. Thanks to Andy Billiardcloth, as you can see the table not just looking superb, playing superb as well. The cue shop, Dominic and Paul. You saw our time-lapse video of how the table was set up here at the One Play Sports Spectrum on Saturday. Eden Resources, very generous of them to give us the prize fund for this competition, and our furniture friends at 42 who helped kit out our studio sets, not just for the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball invitational matchup, but also our Sports Singapore and Singapore Premier League programming as well. And you saw the Cuesports Singapore logo up there. Must mention the wonderful Lily Yu and QH, who are our tournament director and assistant director here during this tournament, and they're doing an absolutely marvellous job. It's run expertly, this competition. Credit to Sport in Singapore, Lily and QH.
That's a good break by David. He has a nice opening shot. I'm not sure if he can reach it.
Around about this time last night, it was when Aloysius Yap was sinking the winning shot in his 7-1 demolition of William Ang. It looks like we're going to go over 10 PM local time in this one.
When Aloysius gets an opportunity, he does not waste
Oh,
much
my
time.
word. Well, David Bala, it's feast or famine with him, isn't it? You see him sink the spectacular and then miss the shots that, on the face of it, look a mere formality. He will be furious once again.
Yes, he did play that shot pretty quickly, whereas I think he should have been a little more careful because he was bridging next to the 2-ball.
Now, 7 is over the pocket here. Oh, where's this going? Oh, my word. And he's got away with one crime there, but walked straight into another one. Now, does this go? Can he cut this in, this 2-ball?
I'm not sure if you can see it, but he hit that 1 ball with much more speed than I thought he would.
I think it's too far past the middle pocket to cut in, and if he tries to cut it in on the jump shot, well, I will literally have seen it all then.
Well, with the jump shot, there is a danger of him scratching in the side pocket. So I'm not sure if he will elect to do that.
I think you can see enough of this to cut it, you know, but it's a mightily thin cut. You're going to have struggle controlling the cue ball. Matt Luther Cook suggesting that Bala's rushing his shots a little bit. Well, we talked about the contrast in the playing styles between these two. No question, the average shot time for Desmond Goh is a good 6 or 7 seconds slower.
That is a really thin cut shot.
Oh, that's superb. Now, he's got to be lucky with the 3, but he bought a ticket to the raffle there. And, well, he's got a combination play here, hasn't he?
That was a well-played 2-ball. I mean, there's not much he could have done position-wise except for hope, and he did get a good shot on the 3.
But you have the safety net of the combination with that 7 hanging over the pocket. It's almost like a free go, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Has to go for that one.
And again, David Bala on another night here might be looking at 4 all as it is now. He's staring down the barrel of 5-2.
Open layout here for Desmond. He should clean up again. I think he drew it more than he expected it, more than he wanted to.
He didn't want to come that far, did he? And we saw plenty of these missed in the first 2 nights of play. There is very little margin for error when you're trying to play them along the rail from this kind of angle. Big shot. No. And both players now are leaving balls hanging over pockets, and at times it looks like neither of them want to win the rack. I'm sure that's not the case, obviously, but the angle just wasn't friendly for him there.
Yes, he did get up a little quick on that shot. That's a sign that he wasn't comfortable shooting it.
It's a real reprieve for David Bala, this.
Seems like
5-2
he's
to
landed-
4-3.
Seems like he's landed straighter than he would have liked.
Fair
So
distance between cue and object ball as well.
just,
So,
yes, just a stop shot would suffice here.
I'm trying to be too flashy with the cue ball here. Well, he tried to be too flashy and he made it difficult for himself. And David Bala again, I'm afraid, just keeps giving Desmond Goh these opportunities. They're both giving each other opportunities, to be fair, but David Bala has just let Desmond Goh off the hook too many times here.
Yes, and this is where experience really comes in, because it's a table you're not familiar with. Just try to keep it simple, play a stop shot. At least you have position on the next ball. But he tried to do too much with the cue ball and it has cost him.
2 balls remain for Desmond Goh as he bids to go within 2 racks of victory. David Bala's burned his timeout already. Don't think Desmond Goh will be calling a timeout, do you? Unless he needs a bathroom break.
I don't think Desmond needs a timeout because of the number of mistakes that David has made. Desmond must be feeling a bit more confident.
Well, that cue ball stopped dead. That can't be what he played there. I know the players wearing face masks means sometimes it's harder to read their body language, but he cannot be happy with that shot, Sharik.
I'm sure he wasn't trying that. I think he actually ended up hitting the cue ball a bit high because he was afraid he would draw the cue ball a bit too much, and he ended up under hitting it.
Delicate cut this. It's going to be 5-2 or 4-3. And it will be 5-2. Held his nerve well after a disappointing positional shot from 8 to 9.
Great recovery from Desmond.
But David Bala should be at least level in this match with the chances he's had, shouldn't he?
Yes. If
We-
not, he should be ahead. But he has given up far too many opportunities at this point.
Really good shot this, because that was far from easy.
And on top of that, I'm sure he wasn't happy with the position he had given himself. So that's a great recovery.
And it gets worse for David Bala because, as my math is right, it's going to be Desmond Goh to break off in the 8th. And if he can break and run here, he'll move to within one of victory. Great catching up and chatting to both chaps before the matchup. Both really lovely guys, and I'm looking forward to commentating with David Bala tomorrow. While he'll be able to watch this back tonight, and all the stick you've given him, he'll be able to give you it back with interest tomorrow in the commentary box as you take on Steve Fong in our live match tomorrow night on One Play
yes.
Sports.
Thank you for putting so much pressure on me. I will enjoy myself.
I should point out that we had a challenge match earlier, and Sharik kicked my backside all over the Singapore Sports Hub. It was rather embarrassing. I don't think I potted a ball, did I?
I don't think you did.
Yes. Does that technically make me your training partner ahead of tomorrow's big matchup?
Well, thank you for being a great sparring buddy.
I'm pretty useless really as a sparring partner, because I can assure you Steve Fong will be much better than me tomorrow. Back to the 8th rack here. Desmond Goh, 2 from victory. 7 is down off the break. The 1 is a shot.
One thing that Desmond has done well in the match thus far is he's been breaking well, and he has, had a good shot on the 1 ball after his break. And that's a very big advantage playing 9 ball in a short format.
I mean, again, I'm not going to get ahead of myself and call this a 6-2 scoreline yet. There's still work to do. But the play of both players, it's just been, I'd argue, 3 real individual criminal mistakes from David that have given the scoreline this lopsided look. And another night we may have been going the distance here in 13 racks.
I certainly agree with you on that. There's 2 or 3 times where he left Desmond only 2 or 3 balls left on the table.
He's done a lot of the spade work for Desmond Goh's impressive lead here. And some work to do here for 4. Now this is this rail. Desmond missed an identical shot to this, didn't he?
Yes.
Early in the match, so that's going to, I'm sure, be in his mindset.
I think he has an opportunity to redeem himself, shooting a similar shot.
When he's got to do something with the cue ball as well for the 5. There is, never mind the Shawshank redemption, that's the rail redemption for Desmond Goh. And look at the cue ball, couldn't have placed it anywhere better. And again, he's just going to take his time here. For the second time in the match, he looks like he's set to break and run.
Yes. Looking very much on course for the second break and run. Just a soft stun shot. Slide on the same line as the 9. Oh, I guess he decided to play topspin off 3 cushions.
Well, that's a sign that his confidence is growing as well, isn't it? That's borderline exhibition stuff, that is. It's got a nice angle to come back up for 8 now. Well,
Just back to the center of the table.
he needs to slow this one down, though. Going to be okay. How hard is it? You've obviously been playing on the table and helping the guys warm up in before our matchups. It's a quick cloth.
Yes, it's definitely much faster than what we practice on.
And it's going to be a straightforward 9 to take Desmond Goh to within 1 rack of a date with Aloysius Yap here at the One Play Sports Spectrum on Saturday. David Bala, he's had plenty of chances in previous racks and not taken them. He didn't get a chance there. Desmond Goh for the second time tonight breaks and runs, and the artificial applause is well warranted. It's now Desmond Goh 6, David Bala 2.
Adaptation is the name of the game here, since it's such a short format. None of the players are used to playing in these conditions, but the person that adapts to the table the quickest has the early advantage.
2,300 Singapore dollars is what they're playing for, and that's why the pressure is on for our 10 players that started out on the journey. We've already said goodbye to Jessica Tan, Nicholas Tan, and the Pirate William Ang yesterday, beaten 7-1 by Aloysius Yap, and it's looking, unless he can produce a real David-style comeback against the Goliath that is Desmond Goh, it's looking like it's going to be quarterfinals and no further for David Bala. A reminder, tomorrow, my main man, Sharik Saeed, up against Steve Fong. That's 4th against 5th seed. So on paper, that should be the tightest matchup at the quarterfinals. And then on Friday, the number 2 seed, the elder statesman of Cuesports in Singapore, To Lien Han, up against the wildcard qualifier, Fraser Leo, who got the better of Jessica in Monday's pre-wildcard quarterfinals. So live Cuesports coming your way every night this week on One Play Sports. It's a 9 p.m. Singapore time start Thursday and Friday. We're an hour earlier for the 2 race to 9 rack semi-finals on Saturday at 8 p.m. Singapore time, GMT +8. And then our grand final, don't miss that, on Sunday at 9 p.m. Singapore time. So David Bala simply cannot afford any more mistakes. And when you bear in mind through 8 racks, he's probably made half a dozen mistakes. He'll be kicking himself for when he watches this when he gets home. It really is pressure time now.
I'm sure he'll be kicking himself, but for now he has to focus on the task at hand, and that's playing a good push out.
First push out we've seen tonight. He's taken to the 9th rack to get one, and he's seemingly looking at this like he's caught in a little bit in two minds. Remember, explain the push out rule. He can push out here, and Desmond can take the shot or put him straight back in.
Yes, and for the push out, he can hit any ball on the table, and he can even make any ball on the table. Except if he makes the 9 ball, the 9 ball goes back on the spot. So as you can see, he's pushed out and created a small problem. So even if Desmond does manage to make the 2 ball, it's not going to be a straightforward out for him. There's still some work to do.
The purpose of his shot there was just to ensure he gets another chance at the table, because the next time Desmond Goh can go coast to coast, this match is over. Thin cut. Has he got the angle to come back and disturb the 3 ball? That's the question.
I think he does.
No. Well, with the sizable lead, he's opted to play safe, and that is a sensational effort. What a shot from Desmond Goh. His body language there suggested he didn't mean it, but he certainly wasn't going for the pot, was he? He's played for that, hasn't he?
Yes, I think he was just focused on the cue ball there, but the 2 ball managed to end up in a great position. Now that even if David kicks it, he's certainly going to leave all the balls in the open. So that was very smart by Desmond to leave the 2 near that vicinity. No matter what David does, he's going to leave the balls in the open. He has to get lucky here.
Doesn't want to give ball in hand. Oh, my word. Well, he, on the face of it, had done a good job there of leaving the blue in a slightly compromised position, but it's no good. The blue's very rarely compromised the 2 ball when you give the opponent ball in hand. I think he definitely played for that contact, but obviously he was hoping the cue ball would stay up, and it hasn't.
Yes, actually he hit it really well, and if the cue ball had stayed up, he would have snookered Desmond.
Well,
but unfortunately he scratched.
I said earlier that Aloysius Yap had beaten William Ang before 10 p.m. We're only now, what, 10 past 10? And it's another rapid-fire quarter-final here. And again, I'm not trying to get you to speak with bravado, but you've seen these 2 guys play. You've now seen, what, the 2 pre-wildcard quarter-finals. You've seen Aloysius yesterday. Obviously, who's going to be... You can't kid me and say you're not, wary of him. I'm not going to say you're fearful of him, because I'm sure you've got the game to beat him. But you've got the confidence, you've got the game to beat either of these guys, whoever it may be that you'll meet potentially in the final?
Yes, I'm confident in my game. I have faith in my game, and I've practiced hard. So, I'll just do my best and see how it goes.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Sharik in action tomorrow. You can do too, 9 p.m. Singapore time, GMT +8. Sharik Saeed against Steve Fong. Are you good friends with Steve?
Yes, I am. We see each other almost every day at the training venue.
Well, Desmond Goh now is counting down to a semi-final berth, seemingly. The 8 is the only ball up on the table I can see saving David Bala at this moment in time.
It looks like it might be an early exit for David.
Well, David will be hoping that that pesky right-hand rail saves him, because if the 8 goes down, the 9 is going to follow. He's come quite far off that right-hand rail.
This is the nature of pool. When one person makes so many mistakes, the other person tends to just get confident. And confident he is. Desmond Goh right now
goes down, and this is going to be game, set, match for the number 3 seed Desmond Goh, who's setting up an absolutely mouth-watering contest against the undisputed number 1 Aloysius Yap at the One Play Sports Spectrum on Saturday. David Bala will be disappointed. He had chances, just one mistake too many. He's certainly up there with a contender for shot at the championship with that incredible jump shot on the 8th. But the story of his match was really summed up by that jump shot on the 8th, because after the spectacular sinking of the 8, he left a relatively straight 9 up, and Desmond Goh capitalised.
I'm sure this match is going to haunt him, and he has a lot of thinking to do.
And a quick word on Desmond Goh's game, because obviously we focused a lot on some bad breaks and bad beats that David Bala had in that contest. But how impressed were you with David Goh, bearing in mind it wasn't that rapid a start from him?
I think that match would have gone a little better, and it would have been a much closer match. That is what I had expected in my mind.
Well, it's a wide margin of victory, 7 racks to 2. There's the updated bracket for you. William Ang and Nicholas Tan in the wild card qualifiers on Monday. Seems a long time ago now. Fraser going through, and of course William going through. Aloysius Yap through to the semi-finals, where we now know he'll take on Desmond Goh. Sharik, I'll let you sign off now and start your preparations for tomorrow's quarter-final match. I'll look forward to commentating on you as opposed to with you. Many thanks for your company and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you, Patrick.
All the best. You'll catch Sharik in action tomorrow. I'm now going to head over to the Spectrum Arena. It looked right out the gate that you were going to start slowly, but David gave you just too many opportunities and you made him pay.
Yep, right out the gate I was very pressured. I haven't played in such an environment for a long time, as with COVID and with all the international tournaments being on halt. So we haven't been competing at all. So this is still a bit green to me now.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke before, didn't we? And I asked you about the lights, because obviously we've got specialist lights for television, the cameras here, and obviously you're paying for prize money. It's a, it's a professional setup here. So it did take you some time maybe to settle down and calm those nerves and find your stride.
Yeah, definitely. It took me, I think, maybe the 3rd rank onwards, then I settled down a little bit. Yeah, during the first 2 racks, I was still very nervous. My hand was shaking,
The incredible thing about that is you still had a lead through the first 3 acts, but it could have been a very different story. I was speaking to Sharik on commentary. On another day, that kind of match that had 7-6, 6-7 written all over it, but you have to feel a little bit for David. I know you have to be all business and you just want to get the job done, but David with some incredible shot making, but just left just too many balls up over the pocket for you, and you can't afford to do that at this level.
He is really a good player, just that he hasn't been competing much, same like me. But even lesser, he hasn't traveled for competition, so maybe this is even more green to him. So definitely he's feeling more nerves than me.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see David Bala back in good form very shortly. Let's now throw forward to Saturday night, the first semi-final. We start at 8 p.m. Singapore time, GMT +8 on Saturday. And you have, oh, no big deal, just Aloysius Yap for you, the #1 seed in the semi. You must be really looking forward to playing Aloysius in this great arena with the television cameras on. And I'm assuming if you pull off some of the shots you pulled off there, you'll fancy your chances of causing a shock.
Well, Aloysius is a good player, of course. Everybody knows him. He's also a very good teammate of mine, and we are friends. So on the table, I'll do my best, and hopefully, if I break well, not like today, maybe control it a bit more, and then I might get a chance at winning him.
You managed to break and run twice, though, so there wasn't too much wrong with the break. I don't think anyone's broken and run more than twice so far this week, so that's something at least.
Yeah, I got lucky on the first break and run because it wasn't what I wanted to. The layout wasn't what I controlled it to play. When the second break and run out is what I controlled. I wanted the cue ball in the center and then the one ball towards this corner pocket.
Okay, Desmond, listen, great to have you here in the One Play Sports Spectrum. Congratulations on your big victory, 7-2 against David Bala tonight, and we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. You can catch Desmond and Aloysius on Saturday at 8 p.m. But there's great action coming your way in less than 24 hours' time. The man who's been doing all the talking, it's time to let his cue do the talking, because our dear friend Sharik Saeed will be taking on his quarter-final opponent, Steve Fong, live here on One Play Sports tomorrow. So that just about does it tonight on the Spectrum. Don't forget to like, share, follow, comment. Tell all your friends about this great live sport. We are COVID busting here at One Play Sports with live 9-ball action all this week from all the team here at the One Play Cuesports Singapore 9-ball Invitational matchup. Stay safe, stay well. We will see this man on Saturday, and we'll see you tomorrow.
We start each day with high hopes. We meet people, sharing rides with them. People who build their lives around family, around their children's future. People who rely on others to give them a helping hand. And those who cherish quality time with loved ones. And like everyone else, we find comfort in people we trust. People who understand our needs and raise us above all expectations. People who share our dreams.